Shalom. Call Hello Allah Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, which means all praises to Yahweh, which is the true name of the Heavenly Father, who you people ignorantly call God, by Hashem, in the name of Yahushua, which is the name of the only begotten Son, who you people ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Those are the true names of the Heavenly Father and the Son. Plus, I'm going to give a shout out to the Akim that's pushing and spreading his word throughout the four corners of the earth, who's also uplifting the names Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Also, to the Israelite foreigners, the speckled bird, man, woman, and child, wherever you may be, whose bloodline traces back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our forefathers, though you may look like the heathen nations you're scattered amongst the heathen nations. As you see on this chart, the nations starting from 2 on down, those are the heathen nations. Also, if your seed line, your lineage goes back to these tribes on this chart through the man, and if his spirit bear witness with his word and his truth, and you can receive it to the speckled bird, man, woman, and child, this does apply to you. You are Israelites, though you may look like the heathen nations are scattered amongst, due to the scattering of these people on this chart. So you're going to have Israelites that look like the other nations due to that. To the few Aquaf, which is you sisters that do listen and learn, to the few, sisters that do listen and learn, watch these videos, shalom to you. To the elect of the nation of Israel, wherever you may be scattered throughout the four corners of the earth where this word is going out to, shalom to you as well. To you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, you could bond, consist, and make up the 12 tribes of Israel, as you see on this chart right here. You are the Hebrew Israelites, the chosen people of the Most High Yahweh and His only begotten Son, who you ignorantly call Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shah. And I got a clip on RT America going on the EU. A bunch of those Edomites over there, they're so-called designed to establish a European, union. Because Britain, I believe, is finally leaving the EU, which is a major loss. Okay, so I'm gonna play this clip. We might not play all of it. Yahweh Ratazah, this be edifying.
Free.
Slacky for the commercial.
Hey there, thank you so much for clicking on this video. You are about to watch the latest coverage, but before you do, portable.tv/download, that is our brand new app platform. You'll get a sneak peek, exclusive content, one-of-a-kind app experience, really, that you can't get anywhere else. And now, on to the video you came here to see. All right, after years of debate, the time has come. Brexit has arrived. Tonight, at the stroke of midnight, the UK finally divorces the European Union. As the EU Parliament ratifies the departure, there were tears and some smiles, mixed feelings from MEPs. Have a look.
And we wish our friends well. We might be leaving the Union, but we're still European, and we'll continue to be European. And it's just that we're not going to be in the European Union.
Oh, I think a lot of sadness. And a lot of people say they're going to miss us, which is very nice. We leave with mixed feelings, I have to say.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I think it was a very emotional session of the Parliament. I've never seen such an emotion in this Parliament. So everybody will miss the British representatives. Not all British representatives, for example. I don't think that we will miss Mr. Farage. But all the others, yes.
So for more on all of this, let's bring in former UK MP George Galloway. So George, this day has finally come, the divorce you have been waiting your whole adult life to see. It's happening. Do you have mixed feelings about this departure like the MEPs we just saw?
I don't know whether to laugh or cry. As Oscar Wilde put it, you'd have to have a heart of stone not to laugh. What they're really crying about is the loss of their big salaries, the world's biggest expenses package, their gold-lined pension plan, and one of the easiest jobs on the planet in a rubber stamp parliament which has no power but lots of money to spend. The EU Parliament hates national flags because they hate nation states. The whole problem with the European Union is that it became a supranational project which had no legitimacy. The European nation states were never asked. The people were never consulted about the gradual abolition of borders and of the distinctions between European countries, distinctions which matter to people. I am not a Slovakian or a Bulgarian. and neither are they Scottish, Irish, British, like me. But the EU sought to elide those national characteristics, sought to bury national flags and national boundaries. And that's why the British people rejected it. And I don't believe that we are alone. Of course we are a European people, Manila. That will not change. Geography, culture cannot change. All we're doing is removing ourselves from a trading bloc that got too big for its own boots.
And George, no matter what, though, when a marriage ends, it wasn't all bad times. Can you give us a summary of some of the union, some of the highlights, some of the lowlights? Couldn't have all been bad.
I'm the wrong man to ask that, both because I've been in a bad marriage and also because I've opposed the European Union since I was 19 years old in 1973, when we were dragged into it without anyone casting a single vote in favour of it. I've written about it on RT.com. We'll be out at midnight. The reality is, for all the good that it did more harm than good for us. There may be countries that have benefited from it. I can think of one or two. But largely, it was a project to enshrine neoliberal orthodoxy over all of our lives and to eliminate the nation states in favor of what they openly now call a European empire. Well, I'm against empires. Whether it's the British Empire, the American Empire, or the European Empire. I don't believe.
And it's all one. Okay, it's all one. The EU, America, the EU, and NATO makes up what the scripture calls the beast, man. Okay? They're all one. Okay? This is what makes up that ancient pagan Roman Empire. Okay?
Believe in empires. I believe in democracy and in people's right to control their own lives. And that's what I think we have the opportunity to do now. I never liked their flag. I never liked their anthem. I still hope to travel widely and freely in the European Union and its citizens to do so here. We have no hatred for European people. We're just against the European Union. And they've only themselves to blame for that. But they don't seem to have learned any lesson. They're doubling down now on all the things that turned us against it. And that will turn the Italians, the French, the Hungarians, the Poles, and maybe others against them. We'll not be the last to leave the European Union. That I can assure you.
George, that is very well put, quite diplomatically, might I add. And lastly, what about this latest referendum call from Scotland? The Scots are calling for it yet again. Would it be hypocritical of Boris Johnson not to table it then?
Yes, but depends when. He's entitled, I think, to say, well, look, this year we're in the process of implementing the latest referendum decision.
But there it is. I played a good majority of the video. Yeah, so the Britain, they, departed from the EU. This is what the whole Brexit thing was about. They was fighting over that. You could look that up more on that, because I haven't really looked into the Brexit thing or was the deep down into it, but they finally departed, okay? And now you have the EU thinking that they're gonna still, build an empire on their own, because here it is, you have America and the EU. They're no longer, together, which I'm gonna get a scripture. They're no longer together, And now, they think America is just America and they're on their own. So they're going to, do their own thing. It's not going to work like that. Okay? This is Isaiah 19:2. It says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. And that's what happened. That's what's happening. These Edomites, you being the new Egyptians, because I always bring it out. If you go to Joel 3, scriptures Joel 3:19, okay? You go to scriptures Deuteronomy 28:68, also Revelations 11:8, okay? It tells you that this is the new Egypt, okay? America being that new Egypt. You Edomites who run America, you so-called white people, okay? You're the Edomites, okay? You're the new Egyptians, and that's what's happening. You're seeing Egyptians fight against Egyptians, okay? And this was playing out, and I always bring this out, but like I'm gonna bring it out as always. You know, a house divided against itself. This is Matthew 12 and 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto him, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Okay? If Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Okay? And this is where we're at now. Okay? America is isolated. The world is basically isolated themselves from America. Then within America, you got, like I said earlier, the EU, you got NATO. You have the members of both of those organizations, as I put it. Okay? They're now divided, and they're now departing. Okay? So what does that mean? The kingdom is not going to stand. That's what you're seeing. Esau, Edom's kingdom falling due to this. Okay? And you have, you know, Great Britain, because you had recently, not too long ago, I did a video, Great Britain basically said they don't want to depend on, including the rest of the European Union, I mean the rest of the EU, some of the EU nations, they said they don't want to depend on America's how they must not depend on America's military anymore, that they were to depend on themselves, man. And that's playing in the Jeremiah, I believe 50 or 51, how their mother shall be confounded. Okay? How the mother shall be confounded of America and be ashamed of it. Okay? So you're just seeing all out division within this Edomite empire. Okay? And that's good, you know? And now, going back to what I was saying, you have Great Britain. They think they're just going to go out and they're basically trying to, you know, separate themselves from America. Okay? They're trying to separate themselves and make their own thing. So they think they're going to create their own little Edomite empire. It's not going to work like that. Okay? The Lord has set a bounds. Actually, let me get this real quick. This is all Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah that's doing this. Okay? This is Psalms 2:1. Says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing, man? Okay? That's a vain thing that they thinking. They thinking they're gonna continue just because they separated themselves, you know, from the rest of these Edomite nations, because the Edomites are being looked at as a problem on the earth right now, that they're gonna just separate and it's all gonna be good. That's not me, it's them. That's how they think it's gonna play out. It's not gonna play out like that. Okay? The Lord, Yahweh Bashim El-Shai, has set a bounds that you cannot pass, man. Okay? This is real quick. This is Malachi 1 and 4. Whereas Edom says, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Okay? And that really started with the Edomites coming back in the power, you know, starting with the Renaissance, the era, when they started painting over the images and the lies started spewing out, right? And up to this point, but you could apply it to this event right now. Okay? A majority of those Great Britons, because you do have Israelites scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, so you're going to have Israelites that look like the other nations, but I'm talking about the seed line of Edom, okay? This could apply to them now. They think, just because they departed from the EU, they think they're just going to return, because right now, a lot of those EU nations, they're broke, okay? Not only are they divided, they're broke, okay? So they think they're going to return, you know, and just, you know, start from scratch. It's not going to work like that. Let me read it again. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus said the Lord of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, showing you that they're the wicked. Okay? And the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. Okay? So, it don't matter if you call, Edomite, you call yourself Britain, Scottish, what else? Hungarian, all these just different, you know, countries that these Edomites try to call themselves. You're all Edomites, and if you try to separate, you try to build separate from the Edomite, you know, here in America or wherever, you're still going down. The Lord's still going to throw you down. Okay, he's going to judge you as a whole nation, man. He's not going to, okay, say, I'm okay with the Edomites. I'm not okay with the Edomites in America, but the rest of you Edomites, you go by fast. No, he's going to judge you as a whole nation, as he's always done throughout time. Okay, he don't judge just a particular part of a nation. He judged the whole nation. So when you try to build this so-called empire of yours to start from scratch, he's going to throw it down. Okay, you're going to be thrown down as a whole. Okay, because your inward thought, real quick, is that your houses. I should have got that, recently, but it's all good. This Psalms 49:11. The inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever and ever, and their dwelling place in all generations. They call their lands after their own names, but it's not, because the Lord's going to throw you down. Okay? You're not going to continue. This is your end, man. Okay? You being divided shows you at your end. Okay? Because the Lord set a bounds, according to Job 14:5. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee, thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. Okay? So you have a certain, day, certain second, a certain month that you're going to rule. Okay? Once that day that the Lord has set for you to fall completely hits, which we're right around the corner due to the prophecies that's showing. This is a major prophecy within itself. Okay? Britain leaving. Okay? That's it, man. That's it. Yahweh Ratazah be this year too. Yahweh Ratazah. From what it's looking like. Okay? Once you hit that mark, you're not going over that mark. See, it's Edomite being carnal like he is. He thinks he could at least stretch, his kingdom for a few more seconds or so. It don't work like that. When that day, whenever the Lord deems fit, to take you down, he's going to take you down completely. Okay? Right now, he's messing with your head, but he's going to take you down completely. Okay? Then, I'm going to finish it off with this. This is Sirach 10. I started at 3 and I'm going to skip down. It says, an unwise king destroyeth his people. That's what you Edomites have done. You destroyed your own people. You've destroyed the apple of the Lord's eye, the Israelites. Okay? Like the scripture said you would. Okay? And you destroyed the planet Earth. You're destroying everything. You're an unwise king. And that's why everybody's, through this word, Yahweh Bashim al-Shah has found out that you are an unwise king. You're not as wise as you think you are. Okay? But through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable, and you're not profitable. Okay? The Lord set you up to play your role as the wicked, to show you, the way the earth will be when you run it in straight wickedness. And you've done a good job at it. Okay? Everything is completely backwards and destroyed, man. Okay? The earth lieth in darkness, like it says in Isaiah the 60th chapter. All due to you. Okay? In the hand of Yahweh is the prosperity of man. Upon a person of the scribe shall he lay his honor. And this is why you Edomites were exalted the way you was. Because the Lord set you up for a due period. Okay? It's not because you got all that through your might or your strength. No. Okay? A higher power is behind it. So I'm going to skip down. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches gotten by deceit, which you Edomites are known for, okay? The kingdom is translated from one people to another, okay? And who is that? I always bring it out. You hear me say it in all my lessons, but I'm going to keep bringing it out, like I always say. 2nd Ezra 6:7. Then I answered and I said, what shall be the pardon of the sin of the times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham on to Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, which is synonymous of us pulling, which Jacob, whose name was later changed to Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, That was synonymous of us pulling these Edomites out of their rulership. And that's what's starting to happen. They're being pulled, okay, and stripped of their power, and they know it. For the Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that followeth. Okay? So this is the kingdom being translated from one people to another. We're seeing the downfall of Esau, Edom, okay? And we're witnessing the rise of our people, okay? Yep. This is Psalms 137 and let me see. And 34. I ended with this. It says, wait on the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua and keep his way, and he shall exalt thee to inherit the land. Okay, the land of Israel, but we're not only going to inherit the land of Israel, we're going to inherit the universe, basically. We're going to have new bodies, slaves, we're going to have everything. We're going to have the fatness of the earth, but it's going to be way greater than what you see right now. America, it's not the end all be all, you know. When the wicked are cut off, thou shalt see it. And we're starting to see it now. I have seen the wicked in great power and spreading himself like a green bay tree, right? Esau, his military is all over the place, okay? His laws, okay, his rule, his influence is all over the world, man. You can't go nowhere without these people being indoctrinated all for the ways of America, okay? Because he's in his power, right? Yet he passed away, and lo, he was not. Yeah, I sought him, but he cannot be found, okay? Mark the perfect man, behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace. Okay, that's when peace is going to be established. You hear these Edomites talking about peace this, peace that. We want to establish peace here, make peace in Libya, all these things. But peace is going to come when your rulership ends. But the transgressors shall be destroyed together, the end of the wicked shall be cut off. Okay? So, that's what's coming. We're going to see this play out. We're seeing it play out now. You know? So, that was it. Call halal la Yahweh by Shema Shah. Shalom to the elect. Abab Abba, Abab Abba, Abad Ha Ayabia. Shalom to the elect.